Hey guys, welcome to Mad Scientist Barbecue. I'm Jeremy Yoder, and I am super excited today to be able to show you guys this Meadow Creek TS500. It's a 500-gallon reverse flow offset smoker. It's got some cool features, and I want to show you those so you guys can get a good idea of how this pit is set up and some of the features that it's got. I'll give you some feedback on how it cooks and whether or not I'd recommend it. And I want to give a big shout out to the people over at Barbecue HQ in Simi Valley. Eric over there was super nice, let me borrow this pit to do this cook, and I cannot wait to get started on the cook. But first I've got to season it, and so I'm going to show you all the features. We're going to season it, we're going to light a fire, we're going to burn in that oil, and hopefully you guys can come along and see all those steps and get a really good sense of what this pit is like. Because if you're interested in one, and I know a lot of people out there are, I would want to know as much about it as possible beforehand. Fun fact, Meadow Creek smokers are actually made by Amish people in Pennsylvania. So you thought maybe they could only build barns? Well, guess what? They can build smokers too. Now we're going to season this smoker in a separate video because I don't want the videos to get too long. I'm kind of guilty of that sometimes. But this video is going to be focused solely on the smoker itself and its features. So let's get started. First things first, let's open up one of these doors and take a look at what's inside. Now, one thing you'll notice is that each door has two locks. So it's got this locking mechanism here. Open that up, and the one on the other side. Once those are unlocked, this thing is free to be lifted open. So we lift it open. Now, all of these grates are slide out grates. Now, in my smoker, my Fat Stack, I love it. It draws so much air through the cooker. It cooks so well. It's great. I have almost an unlimited number of good things to say about it. But one of the things that is a pain is if I have a full smoker load of meat on there and I need to reach something that's in the back, I'm like sticking my head in under the upper grate and I'm like choking to death, and like my eyes are burning from the smoke, and I'm trying to get a brisket that's in the back. It's a pain. One great feature about this smoker is that all the grates slide in and out. So if there's a brisket on this side that I want to get to, easy. Slide the grate out, boom, get to it, do whatever I need, pull it out to wrap, whatever it is. Also, there are doors on both sides of the smoker. So wherever the meat is on the smoker, you can access it easily at all times. And I think that's immensely valuable as a feature for the smoker. Now, they say that you can do, I think, 46 to 50 briskets on here on the Meadow Creek website. I don't know if I'd go that far. I think that you could probably fit 6 briskets easily on each of these grates, which would mean 36 briskets in the main cook chamber, which is a ton, by the way. And then you could put some in the vertical, which we'll talk about later. I wouldn't recommend putting them in there though. But you can fit a whole mess of meat on this thing. And so the grates, how they're designed, they're stainless steel and they all slide. So access to what you're cooking is super easy with this smoker and one of its greatest features. So I pulled these bottom grates out for you guys, so hopefully you can see the baffle plate in here that makes this a reverse flow smoker. So essentially, the fire starts over there, right? The smoke and heat travel underneath the baffle and under the bottom of the grates, and it comes up on the other side, and then travels across all the grates again, up through the smokestack on the top. And the reason they do that is for even cooking. So nothing's going to be super hot. They're trying to equalize the temperature as much as possible. And that's not something I'll find out until I actually fire this thing up and get a good sense of what the temperature readings are. But I wanted you guys to see the baffle itself, and there's a big channel right in the middle. And the reason for that is because as you're cooking tons of meat, it's going to drain a lot of grease. And so the grease falls on the baffle and then drains into that channel and comes all the way across to the front end of the smoker, where it has this ball valve to release all of that grease. And so we'll take a look at that and then we'll move on to some more features. All right, the next thing we want to see here is the firebox itself. Now, you'll notice that this is pretty big. On my Fat Stack, I have a firebox that I believe is 125 gallons. So, pretty big firebox there. This one I don't think is quite as big, but still very big. Also, it's got these grates here so the ashes fall down. And then it's got this tray that you can remove for the ashes themselves. So, a lot of convenient features to try to make cooking easier, and it goes to show that they thought this through very thoroughly. So essentially, I got wood here that I'm going to light for the seasoning video. Be sure to check that one out. The wood burns here and goes under the baffle and then up and over the meat, and then back across out the chimney that's on the same side as the firebox. Now, in addition, this firebox is pretty thick. I think this door is probably ½ inch thick. I don't know if the whole firebox is that thick. It looks pretty darn thick. I'm not sure if it's any thicker than the main cook chamber. I think the main cook chamber is 1/4 inch, so a lot of heat retention and just a good solid smoker in terms of the quality of the steel that they're using. All right, one other note. On my fat stack, the only air intake control for the firebox is the door itself. And so for this, you can actually lock down the door and just use these vents like that to control airflow in. Now, my guess is that I won't be doing this. I mean, I may have them open, but I'll probably have the door open as well, just because I'm trying to burn as clean a fire as possible. And the bigger the smoker, the harder it is for the reverse flow convection action to work well. So my guess is, because I'm trying to burn really clean, I'll keep that firebox door open. But if you're just trying to cook efficiently, like for me, once all the meat is wrapped, then I might close the door down because I don't care about clean smoke anymore. And then just use these so I can maintain an efficient fire in terms of how much wood I'm putting in versus how rapidly I'm cooking the meat on the inside. One other feature that Meadow Creek puts on, I think, all their smokers is this warming box directly above the firebox. Now, you can use this to hold meat at a certain temperature. There's a thermometer on the exterior here, so you can know if you're holding your meat at 150 or whatever it is. But you can also use this to smoke meat as well. So there are these baffles down here that you can open or close, and there's a chimney up here, so you can adjust that to alter the temperature inside here for smoking. Now, my concern with smoking a lot of meat in here is that there's no grease drain here. So what's happening is all the grease is going to be falling down onto the firebox, and I'd be afraid that you could start a fire there, especially grease dripping into those baffles that you opened up. I just wouldn't want to do that. I think it's a neat feature. Maybe you could use it for sausages or something that cooks quickly before a lot of grease builds up, but it's an interesting feature that I think you should know about. Another important feature that I think I should mention is the fact that this thing has 2 axles. So that means that there's not an incredible amount of weight on the tongue. So on my fat stack smoker, there's a lot of tongue weight. On this, I can actually go up to the tongue and pick it up and move the smoke around if I need to. It's not easy, but it can be done. So it makes it easier to haul. Like if you're worried about too much pressure on one set of tires, now you have 2 sets of tires. Also, this smoker from Barbecue HQ in Simi Valley came with a ton of stainless steel. So you have this stainless steel shelf right here that you can use. You know, you pull stuff out, you set it on there, you're checking temperatures or whatever. And because it's stainless steel, it'll protect from rust and things like that. In addition, there's another really cool feature up at the front of the smoker. So we have a wood rack right here, and then another stainless steel table you can use for prepping. So if you're just trying to make use of a table, well, guess what? You can just use this, right? And then underneath it is a wood rack. And so I don't know exactly how much wood you could fit in here, but my guess is it's probably enough to do a whole cook. Also, they had the foresight to put some padding on the stainless steel, so when you put it down, it doesn't make a huge clankety clank clank sound. So those are some of the features. In addition to the extra tire right there, I think this wood rack is a great idea. I hope you guys enjoyed this video where I show you these features. This is stuff that I would really want to know, especially if you're considering dropping 10+ grand on a smoker like this. I'd want to know all the ins and outs and what it looks like and get a really good idea of what it's like before I spend my money on it. So I hope this helped you guys out there. If nothing else, I think this gave you at least something entertaining to see how the smoker is made. I love looking at smokers and I love looking at their designs. And so for me, it's just exciting to see one of these in person and get to use it. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up button down below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. The more subscribers we have, the more cool videos we're able to do. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Mad Scientist Barbecue. See you next time. But the wood burns here, and then the heat and smoke travel that way and then back across. Ouch. Okay, try that again.